moment for her, because she's like, I'm revealing my friends, my people to you, and I really don't know any of your close people. Yes, she met the family because she went to that event at the estate, but he didn't invite her there. The brother did. So, and he's not close with his family. So, those aren't really people in his circle. So, that is concerning. That really is. Right before she asked him about finding a date for her friend, she pissed me all the way off. So, he was working, and she was like having one of those beyond insecure moments, and was like, he's paying more attention to his work than me. That pissed me off, because I was like, this is not someone that is over, a business that's worth a couple dollars. This man is worth billions. Okay. That's an empire. The man, time is the most valuable thing with them. And a lot of times that's what people want the most of, is your time. But my thing is, give the man a moment to kind of finish what he's doing. But she had this whole thing, like, in her brain, she had worked herself up. She had to kind of calm herself down. But she had worked herself up, because it was like, she is so insecure and she feels so worthless. And that's what's so sad, that anything you do that remotely makes her feel not wanted, she spirals like bad, like really, really bad. Like, I understand overthinking. I'm an overthinker. I get that. That's fine. But it's all entwined with her self-worth. And she goes, it's like this pure spiral. It's crazy. Oh my gosh. So she pissed me off when she did that, because it's like, now you're just causing us unnecessary stuff. But she kind of calmed herself down. And I was glad about that, because I was like, if she said that to him, and he knew that she felt that, like, looking at her, when he looked up, he could tell just looking at her that she's spiraling. He knew it. And he said it to her. I'm not giving Angel enough attention, am I? And she even said it. She was like, I know. She knew in her brain, this is unhealthy. She knew she was regressing, and she couldn't stop herself. And I was just like, this poor girl. Oh my gosh. You got to get it together. So they went to therapy, and he had them go over what happened the night of the nightmares. And of course, she blurts out, she saw the therapist like writing down something, and she blurts out, I love him. And Gideon stiffens up when she says that. And the therapist, of course, asks her, like, well, why did you feel the need to say that? And Gideon says, because she wants your approval. And she denied it, but it was the truth. So she saw the doctor, pretty much with him writing those notes. She knew he was saying, like, this is some unhealthy shit. And she wanted to try and prove that I have these deep emotions for him. And she wanted him to, like, put that in that writing too. Because she, if you listen to this, someone tells you someone almost, there was almost a violation from your lover, right? First thought is, that ain't it, right? You need to go. So she knows that this is off. She knows that this isn't normal. And so, of course, she's going to try and justify it, But it's like, this is a therapist. You can't really, like, they know the games. You know what I mean? So he stepped outside with the therapist. He came back in and he kissed her with all this passion. Because when she says, I love you, he doesn't say it back. But it's like he tries to show her that that's what he feels. So he kisses her, like, it's almost with, like, everything that he has. So Eve and Carrie have lunch the next day, and she tells him about her plans for the concert. He apparently knows the group 6ix9ine, but she doesn't. So she asked about Trey, and he was like, he really misses him. And he, they were going to meet up that night for a party. So they go to the concert. Gideon brought along his friend Arnaldo. He's like a Food Network chef. So Shauna was like in awe and was like, my boyfriend loves you. And I really liked that. I was like, I really liked that. Like, she met this famous person, but she didn't become all of a sudden a groupie. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, oh, I love you. My boyfriend loves you. You know what I mean? I really like that. I was like, good, good, So they go to dinner, then the concert. And so while the opening act was up, of course, their bodies all close and stuff. So he starts fingering Eva. And then the main act comes up and she sees the lead singer. It's Brent Klein. So this is the guy that she was absolutely crazy about while she was in San Diego. The group's name was something different then. I forget what it was. But it was different. It wasn't 6 Nights. So she has this magical attraction to this man's voice and to him as well. So even though it doesn't compare to what she feels for Gideon, she still feels it, and that scares her. So while he's singing the songs talking about this woman, and at the end of it, it says, Eva, where did you go? The man done wrote a fucking song about her. I was like, shit! So, while after that, she's like, literally, as the man said that last line, Gideon's still fingering her, and this girl is coming on his fingers, hearing this. This was like, it was euphoric, I think, for her on like so many levels. Like hearing that, because she loves this man's voice, then hearing this portion, because she thought she meant nothing to the guy. She thought she was just an easy fuck, and that was it. She had no clue he actually did feel something. And then to be with the actual man that she feels, oh my gosh, I guess it was just too much for her. Afterwards, she wants to go ahead and leave. But Gideon was like, he had backstage passes. And she would have felt really bad because both Shauna and Arnaldo were like really big fans of 6 Nights. So she didn't want to like mess her thing up because of her stuff. So the end of the day, she did want to see Brent. But she was kind of scared to see him at the same time. So they go back and Gideon she's still with, what's his name? Angus, his security / driver, Gideon's. And so he's not far, so he doesn't mind like going with Shauna and Arnaldo to like go meet the band. So while she's leaving, like while she's out there, like Brent spots her. Girl runs outside, and she was like, he was like, I always wonder, what it would be like, if you would be in the crowd and you would hear the words and like how our meeting would go. And she's looking at him, and he looked even better than she remembered. And he was like, you owe me an explanation. We had a good thing going, and then you just left. And in her head, she was like, you were banging other females in bathroom stalls. So then he just grabs her and he kisses her. And then she wanted to pull away, but for a freaking moment, she didn't, and she kissed him back. And then she pushes him back, finally. And she saw Gideon charging towards them, and he knocks Brent out. So Brent and Gideon are fighting, and no one's doing anything. So she's screaming like, do something, And so Arnaldo tried to stop him, but he couldn't. Then Angus told Arnaldo, like, take Eva away. So while he took her away, he was like, the song was about you, wasn't it? And she was like, yeah, but that was a long time ago. And Arnaldo was like, well, apparently not so long ago. So Shauna is getting in the vehicle as well. Eva apologized to her. She's like, I'm so sorry for ruining you guys your night. And she was like, listen, I had a great time, and I hope it works out for you the best, whichever way you go. So Angus drops off Arnaldo and Shauna, and Arnaldo tells Eva, he's like, if you don't mean him any good, like, you need to let him go. He's like, because you can really hurt him. And of course she's like, no, I love him. I don't want to hurt him. It was just a mistake. So Angus takes her back to the amphitheater, and Gideon gets in, and when she reaches for him, he says, don't. All nice and cold. And she was just like, he looked at her, and he was like, actually, he couldn't look at her. That man was fuming. First of all, he just was fighting. Then He saw you kissing somebody else. A possessive son of a gun saw you kissing someone else. You can only imagine the things going on in his head. So he was like, do you still want him? Do you still want him to fuck you? He was like, you let him come inside of you, didn't you? He was just like going off. I was like, oh my gosh. And she couldn't say anything. She's like, no, I don't want him. I don't want him. It was just a mistake. And he was just like, I saw you kissing back. Like, he was hurt. His eyes were glassy, but it was like he wouldn't let no tears drop. But he was beyond affected. And she was just like, I want you to just like take it away. She's like, just let me suck your dick. Like, just come in my mouth. Like, she was trying to erase kissing him. And I'm like, the memory's there, you know, shit. Hey, can't wipe it away with that. So, but he let her suck him. And, but they had a whole session in this vehicle. And he kept fucking her hard, and he would like bring her to the brink to where she was about to come, and then he'd pull out. Like, he would like keep her orgasm away from her. He was starving her of that orgasm. And finally she got to a place where old girl couldn't she couldn't take anymore, and he was like, tell me why you did it, tell me. And she finally says to him, I don't know. She kept saying that the whole way. I don't know. He would fuck her hard. I mean, they had like a few sessions. He kept doing this to her. He would come and still keep going, but he would not let her come for anything. I was like, this is a little torturous. Finally, she yells out, I wanted you to feel what I felt. And he was like, finally, you tell the truth. So she wanted him to feel those emotions and those feelings that she felt when she saw him with Corinne. Because you know, when you see people with certain people, you can kind of tell like there's an intimacy there. And so that is what has always made her like just not just insecure, but like rage, like pure rage. And so I don't think she initially thought, I'm going to kiss this man, I'm going to make this happen. I don't think she thought that, and that's why she did it. I do think she was caught up in a moment. And I do think deep down, let's be honest, Gideon doesn't leave this woman for too long, right? So if this guy is the head of the, like, he's the lead singer, right? So isn't that going to be the main person that everyone's going to want to see? So if no one sees him, aren't they going to go looking for him? You know? So, but I don't think she thought that far. Like, I think, but some kind of way, I kind of feel like she had to know or something that Gideon could possibly see this. So even if it was deep subconsciously, she had to know, like, that was a possibility he could see that. And I do think, yeah, she probably did, but he kind of forced her to say something. I don't think she knew though at that moment, but I think he knew, and that got to him. That was extremely difficult for Gideon. So they've been riding like a long time, and they were in North Carolina. So of course, you know, her first question, you know, is, who else have you brought here? And he was like, nobody. I am not mad at her, because I would say some shit like that too. So Gideon asked her, tell me about Brent. And she was like, nope. And he was like, you will tell me. And she was like, nope, I'm not going to keep sharing everything with you while you keep holding back. And he told her, you know, why Dr. Lucas hates him. And come to find out, he fucked his wife to the point to where the wife wanted to leave her husband. And yeah. So, okay, I get why the doctor's like doesn't like him. But we don't know why Gideon did that though. So We got to find that information out. So he doesn't go into any more details. That's it. The only other thing he says